this wasn't just me that wasn't taught this. Like, this wasn't just a me problem. Like, this is a community issue where these topics are not being discussed at home, and people are getting approved, they're being targeted really, like in college, for these credit cards, and they're getting in debt and they're getting taken advantage of, and it's becoming predatory for especially the Black community.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Billy Wayne back again with Legacy United, a Righteous Project Inc. podcast. Got a special guest today. She's going to be part of our Ladies of Legacy segments as well, but I'm going to give it to her to introduce herself.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you for having me. My name is Chevon Patrick, and I have a few different businesses. I am the owner of Major League Finance. I have a publishing business called CKP Publishing, more so known in the marketplace as Wealth and Wellness Books. And I also have a nonprofit organization that I'm trying to get off of the ground as well.
Awesome. That's
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's exactly why I definitely wanted you on today. I know we met briefly a couple of times here and there, but you also, hooked me up with your book as well to help with business credit, and I think it was excellent. So thank you again. And as the audience knows, we bring people on to share their experience, people just to help you be motivated. Some people might be stuck in a certain situation or a certain time in their entrepreneurship steps, and we want to make sure that they can hear those steps and how people overcame those obstacles as well. So appreciate that. So I'm gonna toss it back your way to start from the beginning. So let us know where you're from. Where you grew up at.
I am Denver.
Nice.
Denver born, Denver raised, Denver bred. So yes, I am originally from Denver, born and raised.
That's nice. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Same here. What part of Denver? What neighborhood?
So Montbello.
Okay.
Aurora. So in between, Montbello and Aurora for the most part.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. What school did you go to growing up?
Let's see. Elementary, I went to St. Andrews, which is in Montbello.
Okay.
It's a Christian school. And for middle school, I went to Maury Middle School.
Okay.
And for high school, I went to George Washington.
G-Dub, that's what's up. Nice. That's what's up. I grew up in Park Hill, but I rarely went to Montbello. But whenever I did, I got lost in the neighborhood because those streets don't make no sense to me. It still don't. Every day.
It could get like a maze depending on where you at in the billows. But it's definitely could get tricky because some streets cut off and then they pick back up and on the other side. So you're exactly. Not familiar.
So good. That's what's up. So tell us a little bit about your upbringing and certain situations or situations in your life that helped you become shape your personality today.
Okay, so like I said, I'm from Denver. Both of my parents, I was raised in a two-parent household for the most part.
Okay.
Working class family, and I'm the oldest of four girls. So I don't have any brothers or anything like that. It's just me and my sisters. So I always felt like I had more of the responsibility because my parents were working, full-time jobs. So it was my responsibility to take care of my siblings, make sure they got their homework done, make sure that, everybody was safe, till my parents got home from work, picking them up from school and feeding the dogs and all of that. So I had a lot of responsibility growing up, which I feel like ultimately helped me as an adult because I learned, how to take care of myself, how to take care of my siblings, which ultimately, added to my character. And I feel like that's probably a part of why I love to nourish and take care of people now. Like I really get joy out of, giving back and being support systems for people and things like that, especially after all that I've been through, throughout my life. So So yeah, that's pretty much how my upbringing went.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I'm the baby of the family, so I was on the opposite of the spectrum.
Okay.
But yeah, I have an older sister as well, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same way. And even my daughter, being the oldest, I can see, how
Mm,
she has to be the most responsible as well. I mean,
right.
to a certain point, it is a burden, But with a two parent household, which I grew up in as well, I mean, you got to make ends meet, and
Right.
you want to have that time, to help your children. But I mean, it's a struggle. You got to work. You got to make sure you put food on the table. So when they say it's a village, I mean, kids and siblings, I mean, got to work together. But it's good to hear that helps shape your responsibilities even today, because I can see that in you for sure.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
getting over a little cold, so
Oh, it's okay. I got allergies
getting
right
all in my
now.
nostrils. But
So yeah, okay, cool. So after high school, you graduated GW. That's what's up. What'd you do after high school, or do you have anything happen? While you're a teenager that kind of sticks out to you at all?
yeah, I was a teen mom also.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
in the process of me finishing high school, I had my son
Gotcha.
at 17. So I was a young mom. And, but that didn't stop me. Like, I've always been pretty ambitious and very goal oriented. I actually enjoyed school.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I actually graduated early. I mean, I walked with my class, but I finished
Yep.
early with honors.
Okay.
My son was at my graduation. And so that was a huge accomplishment for me because I feel like as a teen parent, a lot of people didn't expect me to be able to finish, especially with, flying colors like I
Yeah.
did. It was
Gotcha.
kind of like, oh, you're pregnant, you messed up, what you gonna do now? You ain't gonna be nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was a lot of negativity surrounding my pregnancy, which I understand because I was so young. However, I was still me. I was still ambitious. I was still goal oriented. I still had, my vision and dreams in mind. And although, I was pregnant and I did have my son at an early age, it never stopped me from, moving forward. And so, yeah, my son, if anything else, he became my one reason to where I was like, I have to do well. Like failure is not an option. I got my son to take care of. I got bills to pay, things like that. So that is another piece of my history that I believe, shaped me into the person that
Yeah.
I am still becoming.
Yeah, yeah,
So
ever evolving for sure, and that's
exactly.
great to hear, because some people can use it as a crutch to not do something, or they can use it to motivate them to do more, or to get through certain situations. It seems like you took that route, which is
Right.
amazing. Which is amazing. I mean, you were saying a lot of people at that time didn't really believe that you can push through like that, and I think that is a stereotype to where teen moms are looked at as, oh, you had a baby at a young age, so now it's all down here from here. But you definitely
Right.
turned it around for sure. Yeah, that's awesome. Great, great.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, awesome. So after high school, graduating and everything, and so tell us a little bit about that. What kind of shifted your path? After you graduated high school.
Let's see. After graduation, I was a massage therapist for a
Okay.
long time. So I worked at different like spas, up in the mountains. I was traveling back and forth on the weekends and things like that, working at a couple different spas out there. I had my own massage business here, just kind of trying to make ends meet. I had couple jobs at a time. I was on my own at this point. So, I had to like work multiple jobs and
Yeah.
just figured out I was in school. And so, yeah, I went pretty much into massage therapy for several years. And, from there, I did a lot of different jobs. Like I've done a lot of different things. And but at the end of the day, I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Gotcha.
So even though I'm like, had all these different jobs and everything, I really just feel like that was kind of like practice. You know what I mean? It gave me the skills that I needed to know, like how to run my own business, what I needed to focus on and things like that. So all the different jobs, it kind of came together at the end of the day, like, okay,
Right.
understanding how actually, business works. So
Yeah.
that helped me all my different stuff that I've
Nice.
done. Like
Nice. And
it's been a journey.
it reminds me of a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And he was saying that when you get a job, and I mean, not a lot of people think like this, but it's always good to have somebody point it out. It's a good step. When you have a job, you use the job as a learning experience.
Right,
Not there just to collect a check. I mean, money's always nice as well, but you use that to gain the experience of, just like you said, of how to operate a business or how to do a certain task,
right,
to where you develop those skills. It's not because you don't always have to go to high or college. I encourage people to go to college, but you don't always have to go to college in order to learn those skills.
right.
And as long as you have that ambition and that motivation to do so, I mean, learn as you go, just like you were doing as well, with your
Exactly.
businesses. And just like you're saying, you were a massage therapist, and you were going to the mountains and coming back and having your own business on the side when you came back as well, which is you know which is right there, just developing your own business there. So that's awesome. That's amazing. Uh,
Exactly. Thank you.
so yeah, for sure. And so what kind of geared you towards what you're doing now? Because you say you had a lot of various jobs, you learned how to start businesses and everything like that. And back to your book, for credit, building credit and everything like that, and Major League Finance. What kind of geared you towards pursuing that type of business?
Um, let's see. So I started working. One of those jobs that I had was working at the University of Denver
Okay.
and being a financial accountant for the University of Denver. And at that time, I was kind of going through a transition in my personal life
Okay.
with figuring out about credit. Nobody ever taught me financial literacy. Nobody ever taught me about credit. So that was something that I learned through trial and error. So around this time that I was working at DU, um, I was just at the point where I was like getting my credit together, learning the ropes, learning what not to do, learning about money, financial literacy, and all the while it was tying into the job that I had there as being a, financial coordinator. So people started coming to me. And
Okay.
that's how it kind of got started. I didn't really intend to start a company for credit, but people started asking me like, oh, how did you get such a nice car? How did you get your credit? I was sharing, my
Yeah.
results on social media, sharing my
Right.
credit, sharing, people would see me driving a nice car. Where do you get this nice car? How you do this? How you do that? And it's like, how can you afford this? And I'm always like, credit. I got good
Yeah.
credit. You know what I mean? So people was just like, can you help me? Can you help me? So it got to the point where it was too many people asking me for help than I really had the bandwidth to help. So I was like, this is kind of an opportunity for me to lean into that entrepreneurial
Yeah.
spirit that I had already been feeling because I didn't want to stay in corporate. Like I was in corporate because
Yeah.
I needed to be in corporate to pay my
Right.
bills. But
Yeah.
when the opportunity came with people asking me for help, I realized like, okay, this is my chance to go ahead and like start a business. Because prior to that, I didn't know. Like I had a whole bunch of different interests and things like that, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I took
Gotcha.
that as an opportunity to start helping more people. And that's how Major League Credit Repair was born. And I started taking on clients, was doing really well, helping
Yeah.
people understand, just the basics about credit. Because then I realized like this wasn't just me that wasn't taught
Hmm.
this. Like this wasn't
Right.
just a me problem. Like this is a community issue
Oh,
where these topics are not being discussed at home, and people are getting approved, they're being targeted really, like in college, for these credit cards, and they're getting in debt and they're getting taken advantage of, and it's becoming predatory for especially the Black
Yeah.
community. You know what I mean? Like, I'm seeing this more prevalent in the Black community. So that just made me want to obviously, go out and educate and help people understand, like, okay, this is what this means, this is how this is done, and this is how you can leverage this credit to buy nice houses and buy nice cars and buy things that you wouldn't normally be able to afford or have the cash
Hmm.
on hand, to give. So
Right.
that's how my first business, Major League Credit Repair, was born.
Okay. Okay. And that's no, you're good. You're good. So I think you hit on a really tough point. Is our community, right? Nobody taught us growing up about credit, about finances,
Right.
because it's for lack of a better word, it was a taboo subject, right? Because parents, especially, they don't talk about finances. Parents don't, if you ask them, about certain situations, or they don't tell you about how much of a bill is, or taxes, or anything like that,
Right.
because, I mean, in a different generation, you didn't talk about that type of stuff, But
Right.
I think it also hinders a child growing up not really understanding what that really is. And even stocks and everything like that is not talked about because it wasn't a
Right.
subject that really circulated the table at all. And I think
Right.
it did really hurt, and it really hurts the community. And when you say, that the credit card companies and they really target a certain demographic, and that's because it's easier to target people that don't have the knowledge of what they're really doing. It's easier to
Exactly.
get those sales. It's easier to get those deals in. And just like the housing crisis in 2008, same thing. People thought that they were getting a home, but didn't realize that themselves, would be able to take care of those mortgage payments, and it really hit pretty hard on a
Right.
lot of people. Um, but being able to share that and help other people is pretty big. So people like you, are huge in the community to help others. But I have a question though: is it easier to get new people rather than for people to come to you? Does that make sense? To learn about it.
I feel like it's I feel like most of my clients I get are through word of mouth or repeat
Okay.
clients.
Yep.
So I feel like it's easier for people to come to me because a lot of people, like, finances and credit is not a topic that most people want to talk about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Most people
Right.
are, even embarrassed when they
Right.
come to me,
Exactly.
and you know what I mean? So I don't feel like that is something that people are just like voluntarily, like, pick me.
Yeah.
But it gets to the point where people realize, like, this is more important than I thought. And that's
Right.
the people that usually reach out to me because they realize, dang, I've been putting this off for so long, and, I haven't really taken the time to educate myself or worry about my credit because they may not have needed to. But eventually it's going to get to the point where it's going to hinder you. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's the people that come to me usually when it's like a dire emergency. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I need to find a place to live, or I need to, get a car, my credit's jacked up. So I get a lot of people that are more so trying to do damage control at that
Hmm.
point, you know what I mean, than be preventative. You know what I mean? So it's like I get more people that are already like in trouble, their credit is already messed up, and they come to me at that point, which
Hmm.
is, easier for me because, when you're trying to sell something and you're out in the marketplace, you're trying to convince and persuade and
Right.
this and that. But when people come to you, it's like, hey, I need your help. How, take my money. You know what I mean? How do I sign up? What do we do? And it's more so of an emergency at that point. So um, that makes it a lot easier for me and saves me a couple marketing dollars.
Yeah. All right. Right. No, I understand that straight up. And do you find more people after COVID? are in need of that, or do you think it's kind of has been the same?
After COVID, I see a difference in the reason that people are contacting
Mm,
me. I feel like after COVID, it's been more like debt relief clients because I do have a debt relief service.
okay.
So I feel like a lot of people, especially business owners that had to halt their businesses and business owners that had to shut down for a year or two,
Right.
those are the people that I'm starting to see now for debt relief. And, they kind of got backed up on the business side. So I do the personal
Yeah.
credit, I do the debt relief and things like that. Prior to COVID, yes, it was more personal credit clients.
Okay.
However, since I first started my business, what I've noticed is the saturation of credit repair companies.
Hmm.
Like when I
Right.
started my business 7 years ago, there
Uh-huh.
wasn't a bunch of credit repair companies like there are now. I feel like that became like a trending, business. And so there's a big difference there. And I've kind of strayed away from doing personal credit because there are so many credit repair
Right.
agencies and more so geared my business toward Major League Finance now because
Right.
I started off as Major League Credit Repair. Now I'm Major
Uh,
League Finance. Okay,
got
so
you.
now we're doing more things with the business credit, business loans, debt relief, consumer financing, and I want to become like the one-stop shop for pretty much everything financing, no matter what you're looking for.
Got
So my gears have kind of shifted also since COVID, but that's what I'm noticing more so
you. Yeah.
now.
Right.
Hmm.
And which you have to do. You have to constantly reevaluate the market and adjust according to what works better. Because you're right. Because I mean, just about everything at this point is oversaturated, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you have a few dozen clothing lines. You have a few dozen everything. Even when I started the podcast last year, it was very few, but it was actually at the time right before I started right before everybody wanted to start, podcasts. Now
Hmm.
podcasts are everywhere as well, more so than it's ever been. But that's another good thing is because people are being more creative and willing to do a little bit more as well. But it does make it difficult to set yourself apart from those other companies.
It
But like you
does.
said, you wanted to specialize in a certain thing that not too many people are out there really seeing. And that's a great thing. Like I said, I read your book, and I took business management for in college, and yes, I learned a lot in college, but you don't retain everything, right? I mean, you go through the course, you get your good grades, you pass, and then then you got to put some experience behind that. But the book itself is laid out in a way that it's easy to absorb, and it reignited those memories of learning about that type of
Hmm.
you know portion of the businesses. So that's really great that that's where you're targeting, because I think a lot of businesses need it, especially since a lot of people are just jumping in, just getting started. So awesome.
Right.
Great, great.
Yes. Thanks.
Um, so I know we talked a lot about business, and we touched base a little bit on your upbringing as well. During your journey, have you experienced any roadblocks, any obstacles that you ran into that seemed difficult that you had to overcome in adulthood at all while going on your path?
Oh man, Billy, I don't even know where to start. It's been a very rough journey. It has
Yeah,
been a very, very turbulent journey. So, when I first started my business in 2017,
yeah,
I started in January.
okay,
Okay. Things were going really well at that point. Like, again, there wasn't that many credit repair companies, and I was able to like tap in and, get the clientele, target my audience. Like, people were really into it. So that was all good to start. And then in December
hmm,
of 2017, I lost my daughter. And I
oh,
had to step away from the business because it was a tragic, unexpected
yeah,
loss. took me out completely. I had to step away from the business, get myself together, and that took
Right.
some time. That
Right.
took some time. That was not easy for me to bounce back from at all.
Right.
And so, like I said, that happened in December, and it was just like such a transition
Yeah.
for me, in so many different ways, in every way possible. So, I stepped away for a while, and then when I was ready to come back into the business,
Mm-hmm.
that's when things had changed. Like I felt like things kind of went from 0 to 100 so quick. And while
Yeah.
had stepped away from the business, like marketing had changed,
Yeah.
social media had changed. There was like all these hundreds of other credit repair companies that I now had to compete with.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a completely different world when I came back into the situation. So it wasn't easy for me to get that traction and get that momentum back like I had before. Like when I had first started, I mean, I was rolling.
Right.
And when I came back into it, it was just not the same. And it was so difficult from a marketing perspective because I'm not a marketing specialist. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
not my thing. But I believe it should be a requirement and is definitely a suggestion for me, for every business owner to take some marketing classes. Because if
Agree.
you have a business and you can't get in front of people and nobody knows about your business, then
Right.
you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
You're going to struggle because I feel like becoming a new business owner, you're more so hoping that your friends and your family and your like immediate circle is going to support you, but that's not going to be enough to
Yeah.
sustain you.
Right.
And that's really not your target audience. You know what I mean? So you're like, oh, my family's not supporting me, my friends aren't supporting me. But at the end of the day, you need to be in front of thousands of people,
Oh yeah.
not just your
Agree.
mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your uncle, your cousin. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
So marketing, I guess I would have to say, would is my biggest bottleneck, even still to this day. Like I said, I get more of my clients from word of mouth or
Mm-hmm.
repeat clients and things like that,
Right.
which I'm so thankful to God that that's been able to sustain me this far. And just literally figuring it out, like trial and error, spending a lot of money, a lot of time. And there's been things that have worked and there's been things that have not worked. You know what I mean? I've
Yeah.
spent thousands and thousands of dollars to build my company and, try to get it to the point where it's sustainable, even to get like more traffic coming in and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it hasn't been easy. It has
Right.
not been easy at all. And it's been one trial
Yeah.
after the next, especially when you're spending money to make your company better
Oh yeah.
or put processes and procedures in place that you don't get a return on.
Yeah.
Because marketing is one of those things that if you invest, it's like either it's going to work or it's not. But at the end of the day, you've spent the money, and if you're not getting it back,
Yeah.
then it's like a oh well, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
So there's
Oh yeah.
been
Oh yeah.
a lot of times that I spent thousands and thousands of dollars and did
Mm-hmm.
not get a return on that, and that was detrimental to my business because if you're putting out thousands of
Yeah.
dollars,
Right.
you're expecting to get something or at least break even from that.
Yep.
There's been
Exactly.
several times that I didn't break even, so I was taking a loss like time and time again. So that was definitely hard, and then um, my health
Yeah.
has been another bottleneck for me because if I'm not healthy, how can I take care of other people? You know what I
Right.
mean? How can I make sure that the business is healthy? How can anybody be healthy if I'm not healthy, if I'm struggling with my own health? So I'm
Yeah.
a cancer survivor and I'm still a
Wow.
cancer patient, dealing
Okay.
with the aftermath of my
Right.
cancer treatment. So like I'm thankful to even be here.
Yeah. Wow.
But I'm continuing to struggle with my health, and it. I've had cancer. I've beat cancer 3 times, but at the
Wow.
same time, like that has worn my body down.
Yeah. Of
You know what I
course. Yeah.
mean?
Right. I can understand. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been a struggle to say the least. Like
Right.
I lost my son last month. My
Yeah.
oldest son.
Yeah.
So I've lost two children. My
Wow.
first was in 2017 with my youngest, which was my daughter
Right.
Yavea, and
Yeah.
then my oldest son Tejan. I just
Yeah.
lost him last month in April, and
Yeah.
having to go through that again is a freaking
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah. I couldn't
So
imagine at all.
yeah, I've had some struggles to say the least.
Definitely, definitely, and I mean, you probably heard it a million times, and I can't just let it go without saying it. I'm sorry about your losses. It's
Thank you.
major, and it's not easy to deal with at all. But it's a strength that I see from you day in and day out. And that's the reason why I wanted you uh, to, to to share with us. A
Thank
lot
you.
of what you have to accomplish, because it is. I mean, it is a point to where you have to keep going, and as much as you can. So
Exactly.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you sharing that,
Thank you.
because it is tough, and I know it's tough. I know it is. So thank you, and um, keep doing what you're doing, because I study people a lot, right? I look at people, and uh, I look, I study their business, and I see what they're doing, and uh, everything that you have gone through, you can still see that you are, you know, still motivated to continue on, and accomplish big things as well. So, also
Absolutely.
saying that you helped, was it? And correct me if I'm wrong. It was your uncle helped your uncle publish a book. Was it your uncle?
Yes, I did. My
See,
Uncle
yeah,
Michael, he has been
you
my
know,
inspiration. He is such a strong person. He has such a good spirit about him. He has multiple sclerosis. So he is now a paraplegic. And I've
hmm
seen the disease basically from start to finish and to the point where he is, completely debilitated almost. You know what I mean? Like he's lost use of his limbs and, he's wheelchair
wow,
bound now, but yeah, he started a book when he was, I
yeah,
believe, in his 20s. So he was literally working on
okay,
this book for like years, like 20 plus years. And he had brought me into the knowledge of his book, I want to say like 10 years ago. He gave me the
okay,
manuscript and I read over it and, it was good and this and that. I kind of was helping him with some editing and things like that.
yeah,
And then, my life took over and, but once I was able to learn how to self publish and I self published my books,
right, yep,
I circled the block for him. I said, "What's up with your book, Unc? When we gonna get your book published?" And he lit up, and he was. I know he was happy that I brought it back up because I feel like so many people haven't showed up for him. You know what I
oh,
mean? Like he's been
right,
sick for a while, and a lot of people have fallen to the wayside. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't check for him anymore, and I know it felt good for him to know that he hadn't been forgotten. You know what I mean? Like he's been my inspiration. He's been so resilient. Like I love my Uncle Michael. I really
that's,
do. He's awesome to me.
yeah,
So yeah, when I brought that back up, like, what's up with the book, Unc? When we gonna get it rolling?
yeah,
You got to be a best selling author. I gotta hype him up, and
yep,
we got it done. I was able to help him through the process and hook him up with my team and get his book out. So yeah, just within the past month, he was able to get his book on the market
there
and
you go,
start pushing it. So I am Team Mike all the way,
yeah.
and yeah, he's dope. Great
Oh, that's
story.
Yeah, yeah, right. So yeah, I'm gonna have to cop that as well. But yeah, I think that really touches specifically on what we're talking about. Finding those reasons why that you want to continue to help others. And just like you were saying, I mean, certain people go through things, and sometimes during your darkest times, you see that there's not a lot of people around, right?
Exactly.
And just those little bit, just the little bit of people that do come through really means a lot as well.
For sure.
And for you to bring up his book and kind of help motivate him, and continue to complete that, even during what you're going through and what he's going through, is just simply amazing. Simply amazing. That's exactly the type of stuff that people need to hear.
Thank you.
No matter how dark it is, no matter where you're at in life, you can always, you know, strive to find that light to continue on. So, um,
Absolutely.
dope, dope stuff as well.
Mhm.
So, that's great. That's great. Now,
Thank
couldn't
you.
say it any better than that. But that's what's up. Keep up the good work there as
Thank
well.
you.
Um, yeah. So we definitely covered a lot as well. You definitely told us quite a bit. You shared quite a bit as well, and I think it's going to resonate quite a bit. Um, but I always ask this question to everybody: if you can go back to any time in your life and talk to the younger you, and say something that might change, your perspective or even motivate you at that time, what would that be? What would that be? I know it's a tough question, because some of us have that. Depending on where we're at in life, some of us have that. What is it? We're cocky, to where we can, change the world ourselves. But if anything that you can tell yourself, what would it be?
That's a good question, Billy. I would say to slow down and not be in a rush to be grown, first of all,
Yeah.
because being grown is not easy.
Right.
Paying bills ain't easy. Like, be a kid for as long as you could be a kid, because once you're grown for forever.
Right.
And life be lifing, and it doesn't let up sometimes. I would tell myself, like, slow down, you know, take your time, be young as long as you could be young, because, yeah, this adulting is not for the weak, first of all.
So,
Um, let's see, and what else I would tell myself, trust the process without comparing yourself to other people, because I know too often, especially with social media now, you get on social media and you compare yourself to other people that you went to school with, other people your age, and
right.
they might be on a different mission, they might be on a different a different path, a different timeline, a different everything. They might have had help. They might have had, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's different. So don't compare yourself to other people, and don't discount your power or your journey because you're comparing yourself to the next person, because we're all different. We're on a different time schedule. So just trust the process and trust yourself. Lean into, your own understanding, without comparing yourself to other people and putting yourself down and having that negative self-talk, because it kind of perpetuates,
Yep.
negativity in your mind. And it's very important that you understand that you're different from other people. So
Right.
they may be successful today and you may not be successful, for a year or two from now, but you just
Hmm.
got to stay on your grind, trust the process, and know that, have that faith,
Yeah.
that you're going to get there.
That's what's up. Deep, deep. Bars. Thanks. Thank you for sharing that as well. So from here, I mean, is there anything else you wanted to share with the audience? Anything that you may anybody you want to give a shout out to? Um, before we head out.
Mm, So back to my Uncle Mike. If y'all want to
Yeah.
get his book, it's called Periods, Pauses, and Exclamation Points Led by the Lord. Okay. And it's on Amazon. So if y'all want to cop that, you can definitely cop that. And I've got my books here too. So if you are interested in getting, maybe you can't afford the done for you credit repair services and you want to do it yourself, I've got a couple books, a few books. So this is my first book. It's called The Credit Game, Plays We Were Never Taught. And this is my first book about personal credit. Find it on Amazon as well. And then my second book, this one is about building business credit. So it's also on Amazon. So if you guys are aspiring entrepreneurs, or if you've got a business and business idea or whatever, and you think that you can't start your business without getting a business loan from the bank, which most people get denied for,
Mm-hmm.
this helps you build your business credit. And it's more so of like an alternative
Right.
funding method for you to get money that does not require personal credit, collateral, and like the cash flow that you would normally need for like a traditional loan. So this is a good one for that. Third book is the two of them combined. It's literally these two in one book.
Yeah.
So this covers personal and business, which I would recommend because it's obviously two in one.
Yeah.
So also on Amazon. And I think that's it, Billy. I thank you for bringing me on here and giving me this opportunity to share my story, share my books, and hopefully this is encouraging to someone that is going through it and feeling like they're never going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Stick to it and just believe in yourself. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, that's what's up, and the pleasure is all mine. Nothing more influential and inspiring than hearing it from people that we can relate to. You know,
Right,
it doesn't have to be a superhero superstar. That's on TV. You
right,
don't have to be like that. I mean, there are people like us that are actually making bigger changes on our level than a celebrity. And I think that's really where we need to hear it from. Regardless
right.
of how quote unquote successful these celebrities are, we also have successful people that are within our own neighborhoods as well.
Absolutely.
That needs that platform, and I think that's exactly where you fit in with us too. So,
That's
no,
awesome.
thank you so much. And yes, I have that. I have the duo book. That's the one that I'm on. I'm on the net 30 right now. That's my process for my hot sauce. So that's kind of where I'm working towards as well.
Perfect.
So no, it works out perfectly as well.
I'm gonna
So
have to get some of your hot sauce. I just seen that. I was like, hot
yeah.
sauce, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, send me the link for that because I want
I
to be
got
able to
you.
support you too. I
Appreciate
appreciate
that.
everything that you're doing, and I'm gonna be supportive for us as well. So send me the link to your hot sauce,
I
whatever else you
got you.
got going
Yep.
on. I'm
Yep.
gonna definitely get some from you.
That's what's up. No, I appreciate that. Well, real quick before we head out, do you have a website you wanted to plug into the audience?
Yeah. So websites. So you can, like I said, my books are on Amazon, but
Right.
I also have a website. It's wealthandwellnessbooks.com. And if you need any of my financial services, I do business credit building. I have a software that will literally walk you A through Z from setting up your business to getting funding for your business. I have debt relief for people that are in debt and need someone to go in and negotiate with their creditors on their behalf to lower their debt amounts. So I got that, and then I've got personal loans, business loan, consumer financing for coaches and high ticket
Wow.
coaches, people
Yeah.
that have, you know, a course or coaching, whatever, $10,000, and you're looking to get your more people into your course. I do consumer financing for that. MajorLeagueFinance.com
There you go.
is where you can go to get more information about all of those services. And you can also schedule a consultation with me on my website. So Major League Finance, wealthandwellnessbooks.com. And yeah, that's it.
Good. Good. That's what's up, you guys. I want to make sure that we're gonna share that with the audience as well. But thank you for that. I'm going to take advantage of some of those services too. Because we can always use more help as well. So, and back to the audience, if you guys enjoyed the episode, let us know. Like and subscribe on YouTube. We're on just about every streaming platform like Spotify and Amazon and Apple and all that as well. So we definitely we encourage for you guys to listen, subscribe, and support. Because that's what it's all about, is getting these businesses and these great people out here on those platforms. So thank you guys again, Chevon Patrick. Thank you so much for joining us as well. And you guys have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Legacy United.
Peace.